Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Blank Hollow, the newest update for Neon Nights. This update brings a new game mode, an event, and a few smaller details here and there. We're going to go right into the event first and we'll talk about the smaller stuff a little bit later. For starters, this event is going to occur for an entire month, and afterwards you're going to have to unlock it to achieve the new special dive mode. This new special dive is conveniently called Blank Hollow. This is an infinite dungeon, so you can play for as many floors as you want. Everything is randomized, and the only real way of completing it is by death. Before we actually get into the mechanics of the dive itself, we're going to go over a few of the smaller details before we get into it. During the event, whenever you play the special mode, you're going to have some progression. This progression will carry over onto a leaderboard. You can manually submit to the leaderboard whenever you feel ready, when your score and progression is at its highest point you believe in. This can be done one time per day, and after you submit it, you're going to be able to see your score on the leaderboard, and you'll also be able to claim a reward one time per day. The reward that you are going to be getting is a new currency. This new currency is called Fake. This currency can be used in the shop for the event, and there are a few other currencies that you'll be able to get after this update. One of them is called Medals, which you can obtain from progressing and playing the new dive mode, and the other one is called Fiz Oil. This one we'll get into a little bit later in the video. Like previous events, such as the Christmas one, this event is going to have its own little shop and currency and a bunch of cosmetics that you can redeem from your progress. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's actually dive into the new game mode, Blank Hollow. For starters, for this event and the new game mode, it is recommended that you are a player of level 35 or higher. And oh boy, I do recommend that because it gets really crazy in this new game mode. In a normal run, you're gonna, manage a few things here and there, like your health, your currency, maybe a few of the items, and your ammunition. Well, this new game mode throws a few more aspects that you're gonna have to manage. For starters, the entire game is gonna be randomized. All of the enemies from the entire game are gonna make an appearance. All of the shops are completely in disarray. All of the vending machines can be harder or easier to obtain, and there are new things littered all around. In the beginning of this special dive, you're going to be given the option to embed a new quirk into a weapon. Take note, however, if you do embed the new quirk, it's going to be a little rough around the edges in normal play. This new quirk is called Hollow. This makes it so it's efficient in this particular game mode, but it's not going to be so great in normal game modes. A cool new feature is that this quirk allows you to use S-quirks. S-quirks are a new feature very specific to this new type of special dive. Additionally, this dive is kind of like a pick a path. You're gonna have the option to go one way or the other. Before we get right into picking an option, we're going to talk about a new feature. Purity. Purity is going to make the game either incredibly difficult or somewhat manageable for you. Purity starts at 100%. If it reaches 0, you're going to get a debuff. The debuffs are going to be totally random, and they're going to hinder your experience. You remember that hollow thing we talked about? That's where this comes into play. Enemies are going to be given hollow when your purity is very low, and your weapon that you put hollowed on is going to be more effective against them. Additionally, that weapon's gonna have all of the S quirks. So as you travel along, you'll have some options to apply some S quirks. And these S quirks are gonna be normal quirks that stack on top of your weapon already. So let's say you get Veteran, you get Burning, you get one of those other quirks as an S quirk. It gets applied for this run. Just a heads up, S quirks are for the whole team. So if you're playing with multiple people, everyone gets the same S quirks, and also everyone gets the same debuffs. Speaking about debuffs, this dive is a little bit different. You're only given one opportunity. If you die during the dive, you cannot revive. You have to start from the very beginning all over. Now we can finally pick a path. Paths are gonna have different price tags on them. There's gonna be two values, a P and a V. I have no idea what the V is, but the P is for purity. If the P value has a negative sign, you're gonna lose purity. Sometimes these can have a positive value. It won't have the negative sign, and you'll increase in purity. Speaking about features, I have no idea what they are. These options will also have some names, is what we'll call them. You'll see stuff like Halo, M, Hardened, Olivia, Golden, Blank, and some of these are obvious to kind of catch, like Corrosive or Hardened or Blank. These ones are going to be really easy to spot. The other ones, on the other hand, aren't so easy. Just a heads up, this Blank one, that's going to be your health bar if you choose it as an option. Blank is pretty much a one-hit kill for the enemies. The enemies will be able to completely demolish you. So be careful if you choose that one. However, not all of your options are going to be a complete mess. There are 3 total options that you can go into. There are white, which are NPC names for indicating rest sites. There are black ones, which are the normal rooms that you'll be entering and fighting enemies in. And then there are red ones, which are going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Speaking about options, there are going to be a few more that you're going to have to pay attention to. Everywhere's around your dive, there's going to be these cubes. Every single cube is color coded, and there are a bunch of them. There's green, yellow, blue, red for all of your basics, cash, EXP, ammunition, and health. And then there's a few other colorful ones such as purple, black, white, and a few more. The purple ones are also pretty easy to spot. The purple ones are going to be vendors, specifically your snacks and your drinks. The black and the white ones are going to be for the new special dive. The white ones can restore purity for a price tag, and these do vary. The black ones will give you an S quirk for a price tag. The price tag isn't necessarily always going to be cash. Sometimes it's going to be a sacrifice of health, or it's going to be something else. There are a few other special cubes when you play this mode. Some of them will have faces, and some of them will tell stories, and one of them is one that you're going to want to look out for. We already mentioned the green one, but whenever you go into a rest site, there is also a green one that works as a merchant. This is where you're actually going to spend your cash for items like as if it were a normal run. Speaking about a normal run, let's get into a little bit more of familiarity. Those vending machines that you know and love, they're going to be a little bit harder to spot sometimes, but they do make an appearance. Same for all of these safes, all of the med kits, all of the ammunition boxes. Those can be scattered around as you journey. The final parts of this very special mode are going to be pillars and bosses. Pillars are completely useless and make the game mode extremely more difficult. Bosses are going to be randomized as well, same as all of the enemies. And lastly, we got to go over what happens after you complete a run. You're going to be given 2 things, a score and also currency. The currency is called medals. You can put a score onto the leaderboard once every single day, and the leaderboard will reset daily. And once you submit it, you can get the new currency called fake. This currency is used for the event shop. Just a heads up, you can also obtain the currency fake through regular dives by finding one of the special pillars and completing the task that follows. The medal, that doesn't get used until you reach Pit 10. Pit 10 is going to be the name of Room 10 of the new special dive. This currency can be used over in the merchant area by the forge. It's the small weird looking ATM. Both of these currencies and both of these shops can be used, and they will give you an assortment of items to choose from. A lot of cosmetics and a few items that can be beneficial. On the topic of beneficial items, there is one final currency in this update that we have to talk about. Fiz Oil. Fiz Oil is going to be used by a new merchant over in the hub area by the basketball court, and this can be used for 4 new beneficial items. The items work similar to markers, where you use it and they can stack a few times during a run and they'll give you beneficial statuses. Now, the way that you actually get this currency is through fishing. Every single time you play the game, there's going to be a chance that the room you go into is going to have a fishing spot. This is indicated by ripples happening in an area. Fishing rods are now the newest item in the game, and these work like melee weapons. You can use them to reel in enemies or go to an enemy, but you can also use them for fishing as well. Back on topic, the fishing rod is needed in these fishing spots to get Fiz Oil. Fiz Oil is exchanged for beneficial items and the cycle continues. That is everything of importance. There are a few bugs here and there with the update, of course. There's a few balance changes here and there. There's a few smaller details, such as a new enemy in the Midnight Lounge. There's a new keepsake. There's new items called banners, but other than that, there's not too much else of high importance. There's a huge amount of new artwork in the game as well. Very amazing artwork. And there's a new outfit. Other than that, there's literally nothing too much to highlight. Maybe the default dash being increased by 10% and the daily sell limit increasing a little bit. But other than that, it's pretty much just a bunch of fixes and a few balances here and there. If you are interested in seeing a deep dive of all of the bug fixes, quirk changes, balances, and additions, then I recommend checking out the Neon Knight Discord server. It's on their game page, just a heads up, and that's about it. That has been every single thing. I hope this video was informative, and that's gonna be all from me. I will see ya.